Okay, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to day 5 of Life Upgrade 3.0. It's been 4 days of uh, illumination, 4 days of transformation, and now we are in the final day. I don't know how excited you are, but personally, I'm excited because in the last 4 days, I have gained a lot from the various speakers and experts in their various field. They've really giving us the right information that is needed for us to go to the next level of our life. Okay, starting from the day one where we spoke about purpose and vision and how we can craft our visions for our life and how we must discover purpose, how we must discover a vision, okay, about the life or the world we want to build. That's the day one. We learned a lot about that. I spoke that time. And the next day we spoke about spiritual, how to grow your spiritual life, how to upgrade your spiritual life. And Mr. Fafiolu spoke extensively on that, and I'm sure you all had a great time. All right. And on Friday, we learned about how to improve our health. Okay, we had Dr. Labinto come to share with us practical ways and strategies to improve our health and well-being. And I'm sure we all learned a lot from our session. And yesterday was also great, was also awesome. We had Mrs. Joanne, okay, Olugundudu. She came and spoke about how we can build purposeful relationship. Okay, I learned a lot from yesterday's session, and in the past 4 days, it has been exciting. So I don't know about you. How has it been in the last 4 days? Just share with me in the comment section. How has it been? Have you gotten value so far? What are you planning to start doing differently? Okay, because I believe that in anytime you have access to information, there are two things that are involved. You must make a resolution on two things. The first is what will you stop doing? And second thing is what will you start doing? Okay. If you listen to anything and you can't break it down to what will you stop doing and what you start doing, then you didn't learn anything. The proof of learning, the proof of knowledge is seen in what you do. Okay. And you must break it down. What will I stop doing and what will I start doing? Okay. So let me know how has it been so far in the last 4 days. Please okay, let me see who's on the call first. I want to share the link to this session and let them know in the group that we have started, we are live. Let everybody start joining. It's the grand finale and it's going to be awesome tonight. Our speaker is ready. The amazing, exceptional, powerful Joseph Ugwu is waiting for us. He's waiting to impact us with knowledge. And I tell you, see, you are not living here the same way. Your mindset about your finances, about your money is going to change. And I'm sure you know how important money is, okay? In this world, like we need money to do a whole lot of things, okay? We need money even to fulfill our purpose, to drive our vision. You need money, you need finances, okay? But the issue now is that many young people, they've reached out to me personally during our question and answer session. They've told me about how they can manage money. I remember someone saying that before it doesn't they give her money, the money is done already, all right? And that's a big issue. And you need to learn about how you can manage money, not only manage money, how you can make money and also multiply the money you have. And that's why our speaker is here to impact us with that. And I'm even happy because it's the final session, okay? It's final session, and I'm sure you are going to learn a lot today. All right, so get your notepad ready. Let me know if you are online. Let me know where you're joining from. Let me know your name and let me know how excited you are. So in the next few minutes, I'll read his profile. And after reading his profile, I'm going to bring him up and going to share his knowledge with us. So please, if you have questions, get ready to ask your questions. I know most of you don't have questions, but this time, please, as you are listening, get set to ask questions about that issue you have about finances. All right. The light you need, the light you need for the next level of your life, all right, is in the information you get, okay? And the quality of the question you also ask determine the quality of your life. So be ready to ask questions as regards your finances. So Uche, thank you for joining from Lagos. You are welcome. Glad to have you here. Please share the link with your friends. Share the link on your status. Also share it on Top Club. Let everybody know that we have started. We are live now, and they should join for the final session. So without wasting time, let me just read our speaker bio, and then we'll go ahead with the session. So Joseph Ugwu is a seasoned professional with over 6 years of experience in the capital markets and banking sectors. Okay, his expertise spans finance, risk management, and fraud prevention, supported by state-of-the-art software. Beyond the corporate role, Joseph is a passionate advocate for various causes. He leads a non-profit, the S&P Finance Club, boasting over 500 members, where he champions financial literacy. In his pursuit of making a difference, Joseph is currently pursuing an MSc in Risk and Finance at the University of Southampton on a prestigious Chimney Scholarship. And if you know about Chimney Scholarship, only the few elect, okay, go into it, okay, only the few. So if you are choosing for Chimney, you know that you must be offering something valuable, okay, and that's who we are tonight. So it's not an ordinary person I'm inviting, okay. I'm bringing up. It's not an ordinary person. Put that one in your mind, okay. You must be able to learn, glean from his knowledge, okay, and his experience, all right. So let's welcome with a standing ovation, clapping ovation, swing, anything you have to do. Let's welcome the one and only Joseph Ugwu. Good evening, bro. Good evening, sir. Glad to have you here tonight. Glad to have you
Yeah,
here. How are you doing?
yeah. Good evening, Mordecai. Thank you very much for having me. I'm doing well, faring
Yeah,
well,
yeah. And how is the
and
weather over there? I know you're not in Nigeria, so how is
it's
the weather in the
cold.
UK?
It's
Wow,
cold. Yesterday we experienced, I think, negative temperature,
wow,
-2 degrees centigrade, and it was really, really cold. But
wow.
well, we're prepared. You can see my
Great.
head warmer, and uh, I just have to be
Great,
prepared, man. So doing
great,
well,
great,
doing well.
great. Glad to have you here. Glad to...
And
And
thank you
before,
very much for this platform. I'm really delighted that you have a system like this, where you try to impact lives and, make people get the best out of themselves. So thank you.
thank
Yeah,
you
good
very
evening,
much.
blessing.
Thank you very much. And I want to appreciate you for honoring our invitation. I know you have a lot doing, like studying in the UK. I know it's not an easy work, and you still created time. It just shows your passion for young people, like you even pointed out in your bio. So I really appreciate you coming on board and coming to do this with us. I really appreciate. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure is
And something
mine.
unique about Mr. Joseph again is that, do you know that in his bio, I shared it on the group on the club, okay? He does about 100 push-ups every day. See, he has been doing that for over 20 years. That's not easy. All right. It talks about consistency, knowing what you want and being ready to do what is required to get what you want. All right. So be ready to listen. And now you can have the stage, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, and good evening, everybody. Mordecai has placed me on a pedestal, which I don't like. Most of the things he has said is actually true, but the manner in which he's saying them. But today we'll be doing something really important, something that besides God, I think that's the only thing that may determine whether you're alive or not. It determines whether you go to school or not. It determines whether you eat or not. It even determines the quality of your friendship, the quality of your life in general. And that's money. And we have just 1 hour. Okay, let's say 8 minutes gone. So we have 52 minutes to go. And there's usually a lot of stuff to discuss about money, but I'll try and keep it as, brief and crisp as possible. So I the topic is about financial empowerment, how to manage, how to make, manage, and multiply money. And there there are different things I would want us to do, and there's a way I want us to approach it. The first way to approach it is by answering our our conversation, because I usually like to have conversations, but unfortunately, I may be doing more of the talking while you're doing more of the chatting. Our conversation would ensure that we're answering the questions of the when, the what, the who, the why, the where, and the how. And the most important, or the ones I'm going to emphasize on tonight, would be the why and the how. Now, the where is anywhere in the world, money is everywhere in the world. The what is money is simply an exchange of value. Is a store of value, is an exchange of value. The who, you guys. From what I saw on the fly and from the conversation I had initially, I was assuming that I'm going to be talking to teens, majorly. But from Mordecai's updates, I think we have a mixture of, different kinds of age brackets. And I even know one of my friends here, and he's over 40. So, but he's really interested in learning about money as much as he can. So, Money, like I said, dates way back in in history. Initially, it was about bartering. What we call bartering is there was nothing like 1,000 naira notes. There was nothing like gold. There was nothing like dollar or pounds. The way people were exchanging value was you bring your head warmer and I bring my earphone or I get my bottle of water and we assume that the estimated value of my earphone could get you a bottle of water. And I need water and you need earphone and we exchange. And that's just it. And that was the concept and that was the method, centuries ago. But with time, human beings realized that that would not work because sometimes you may not need something and the other person needs something. So how would the person get what he or she needs at that point in time without giving you something, that you may need? You may need a bulb of onions, and I may need a keg of palm wine, and we can exchange. But what if I need a keg of palm wine and you don't need a bulb of onions? What do we do? And that was how another means of exchange, store of value, gold, came on board. But again, gold is so heavy, and sometimes you may not have the capacity to buy things in bits with gold. And over time, they invented money as a concept, the paper you have, and that's the means of exchanging value. Now, I started this way for you to understand that without money now, whether you're living tens of centuries ago or whether you're living 500 years ago or whether you're living now, it's going to be almost impossible for you to give and get value in return because almost everything is monetized. There are a couple of things that are not monetized, like happiness, peace, love, honesty, and loyalty. But even some of these things could be enhanced with money. They can't be bought with money, but they can be enhanced. For example, if you're a faithful servant and you go to church and there's a need for the church to build a different tabernacle or have a different session where they worship God. With your money, you can help the church, build an entirely new house. So you could see how you're enhancing God's work with money. So enough of the background. We're going straight into making money. Why must you make money? Why do you have to make money? The basic concept of finance is, for me, the law is everywhere, but that's what I've realized over time, is that you learn, you earn, you save. You learn, you earn, you save, you invest. So that's usually the process. And one of the ways I'm going to tell you about making money is about learning, which is one of the things you're doing now. And why is it necessary that you make money? It's because without money, you're ruined. Without money, you're not going to go to school. You'll be unable to go to school. Most of you. Without money, you're unable to feed. Without money, it will be difficult to secure your future. In fact, without money, you are in soup, you know. So one of the ways to make money is to gain knowledge and build skills. You do that by many, many, many ways. There are tens and tens of thousands of resources, online where you can go and learn about money. There are people like Mordecai and people like me you can reach out to and ask them to teach you about money. That's on the money part. Then there are other skills that you can monetize. You're someone that you're passionate about something. You're passionate about photography. You're passionate about, singing. You're passionate about fashion. Whatever it is you're passionate about, the first thing you need to do is to learn, is to gain expertise. And expertise is simply knowledge and skills. And once you gain the expertise, you begin to give and offer value. Remember what I told you, how money started. It was bartering, trade by barter. You offer value, you get value. Once you learn, you build your skills and knowledge and begin to offer value, value will be given unto you in return. And the value will come usually in form of money. Because like I told you, one of the definitions of money is the store of value. You learn, you give value in the form of your services built under knowledge and skills. And once you give the value, you transact, you get the value in return in terms of money. Now, another way you can also make money if you are actually a teen, yet to clock maybe 16, 17. Teens are usually, I think, between the age of 12 to 18 or 13 to 19. At that age, I think I was writing my first jam. I wrote jam close to three, four times anyway. So if you are in that age bracket, and I know some of you are way above that age anyway, try and be an apprentice. Why I use the word apprentice is sometimes there are limits to what you can do, what you can learn when you're very young. What you do is to find someone, that has extensive experience in that field. And you go on that person and you learn. And if I want to localize what I'm trying to talk about, you go and serve the person. And once you're done serving, you become a boss of your own. They'll settle you. And after they're done settling you, if you want, you go on and build your own empire, you know. But again, what I mean is sometimes there are limits, not sometimes, usually limits to what you can do when you're young. And the best way to get out of that bad, is to be an apprentice. And this is also in form of internship if you're a student or even if you're out of school. Again, it's going to be a bit difficult for me to be specific with my examples because I know the demography of the people here cuts across, teen, adolescents, teens, adults. But again, I'll just try as much as I can. So if you're still in the university or you just finished, another way is to go for internships. But you don't just go for internships, and they don't just take you. But there are some skills, in demand skills you can learn. Everybody is talking about tech. Yeah, it's a good thing. You can start from there. You can start from learning tech skills. You can start from learning graphic design. You can start from, cyber security. You can start from a lot of things you can learn. And you can use YouTube. You can use Coursera. You can use Udemy. You can also start by learning about finance. If you want to come into our field, there are a couple of certifications you can undertake, and it's going to increase or boost your chances, of getting internship positions or even graduate trainee positions. I studied biochemistry, in the University of Nigeria in Soka, and today I'm a finance professional. So how did that happen? Not like after studying biochemistry, I went straight into studying finance, getting a degree in finance. No, I did not. What I did was to begin to build, expertise, capacity. And yeah, of course, expertise, like I said. I started learning a couple of stuff, some things that I knew were general skills required of typical financial experts. And that's skills like you learning how to speak, good communication skills, learning how to speak, learning how to listen, learning how to write. These are critical skills you need to learn. Learning basic calculations. These are critical skills you need to learn. And after learning all those things, I started applying while also backing my applications up with some simple courses that I took that were not capital intensive. They didn't require money, but I took those courses and they gave me the edge, So that's another way. Then the other way is YouTube. YouTube is a very interesting place. There's this guy called, I think, Ryan Kaji or Koji. I don't know exactly his last name. A small boy. I can't remember his age now. But I know when I knew about him, he was about 8 or 9. You know, the guy has over 35 million subscribers on YouTube. A small boy. And the money he takes home, if you convert that money in a year, is I think it's close to 2 or 3% of Nigeria's GDP. So the guy takes home tens of millions of dollars every week. Now, what happens in YouTube is if you have a channel on YouTube, every 1,000 subscriber, based on the posts you make, the videos you send out, and the number of views you have, at least an average of $100 for every 1,000 subscriber. So imagine someone having 36, I think 35 or 35 point million subscribers. He's taking home an average of 3.6 million every day. Now run the calculation for 365 days, and you know what I'm talking about. But everybody won't own a YouTube channel. I don't own a YouTube channel. So it's good to find your niche. But even at that, it's worth exploring, if you're interested in that. And if you're someone that can keep it going, I truly recommend you to go on board and try it out. And another way as well you can do that is through scholarships. You know, again, it's difficult for me to particularize my recommendations because of the kind of different kinds of people here. But for example, the scholarship that I won, if I were to fund it myself, I'll have to work for 14 years with the salary I was earning as at the last month that I left Nigeria. And it's the value of my scholarship based on the school I'm going now and the school fees I'm paying, my accommodation, my health, my wardrobe, my stipend on a monthly basis is close over $60,000, £60,000. So run £60,000 with the current exchange rate in pounds. You understand what I mean? But you could see I have indirectly made money and used that money to invest in my future by gaining or winning a scholarship. So it's one of the things you can explore and exploit. It's going to help you build capacity. The learning part also help you save money, give you money indirectly, even though you don't have the cash raw. But again, you're given the cash and you're investing it directly into your education. So that's another part. The other thing you need to do is to actually do some small business if you're in school or yet to go into school. I told you guys I was at home for like 3, 4 years before I gained admission. And what I was doing largely was I was working for a wholesale beer, not like it's a beer parlor. They were not selling in retail, they were selling in crates. And the fact that I also love exercise and I love to carry heavy stuff. So I found it really easy, you get. So that was what I was doing. At that point, it wasn't a funny job, but I was, making little money that helped me to, at least not to feel the financial brunt when I was studying. This is something you can do. And even after gaining admission when I was in school, I didn't stop there. I did the football, I did the school politics, but again, I also did some small businesses. You can start by, tutoring your fellow students or even younger students on a subject that you understand better. And the advantage this offers is as you're doing that, you're also getting more knowledge. You learn better when you teach. Some of the forms of learning is by repetition and by teaching. Some of the things I'm teaching you now gets re-immersed in my mind, because I know these things and I'm teaching you guys. So the more you teach, the more you know. And that's another way. Then again, let me just talk about maybe probably people that are not currently in school. If you're out of school and you're looking for ways to really make money, I've already talked about going for graduate training positions, but sometimes maybe your results may not be maybe an impediment, for you to get the kind of graduate training jobs you want to get. Sometimes as well your age, because I think when I joined the Nigerian Stock Exchange, the max was it 27 or 28 years, and as at that time I was because my I'm born in January, and as at that time I was like 2 or 3 months, to the age limit. So when these things happen, what you usually do is to find other job in your field that you can really gain access to. Then the other way is to network, build relationships. I know a guy, Toby. He was, when we graduated from school, he was 31, so way above the age for most graduate training positions. And he didn't really graduate with a fantastic result. And he didn't even know anybody, but the guy was really, really active, in school, in volunteering. He was really doing volunteering. He was networking with a couple of people, building genuine relationships. When he finished, it was one of the guys he had one of the closest relationships with when we were in school that invited him over in Abuja. And that was how he got a job. So build genuine relationships. Your network is your net worth. I am not going to emphasize on this. This should be very clear already. Your network is your net worth. If you don't have money and you have 10 genuine friends that have money, you have money. Remember one significant definition I gave money, a store of value, meaning you don't need to have the raw cash. If you have someone that has value and has that value stored in them, you have money. As long as you can use it to solve problems, as long as you can use it to gain access to opportunities, you have money. So build relationships and utilize your relationships really well. Most of us feel woefully, this part of it. Now, I think I've already used 26 minutes and I still have a long way to go. Then there are things, these are some of the things I want you to do and I expect you to do. But there are things I don't recommend you to do. They are very clear, but I want to emphasize on them. And there are four. And I usually tell people one is don't go into fraud. And it's not because I'm actually professionally against fraud, it's because it doesn't pay. And it's not the best way, it's not even a good way to build sustainable wealth. Fraud doesn't give you peace. Fraud harms another person. And if you're truly a true Christian or you are a good human being, I'm not sure you want to make money in a process and in a manner where another person is hurt. Because regardless of how you want to rationalize it, some people will tell you they're going into Yahoo because the Oyibo people, they came way back, tens of years ago, and they enslaved our fathers and all the crap. No, they're just trying to give excuses, make excuses for the bad things they're doing. So don't go into fraud is a terrible thing to do. Even if you don't get caught, it is not a good way to live your life, and you're most likely to get caught. The other one is don't go into gambling. It's a bad habit. It's a habit you go into and you regret it for the rest of your life. Now, most of these gambling sites, Bet Ninja and the rest, they are there. There are these guys that are raking in, millions of naira on a daily basis. On a daily basis. You know why? Because life is filled with uncertainties, and no matter how good you think you are with predictions, you cannot control events. And these events will not most times be in your favor. And once you are addicted into something, you start doing something uncontrollably, and you don't even know when you're going out of line. So please don't try and go into gambling. It's a terrible way to get money or to make money, because over time you get so addicted that the little money you get, rather than multiplying the little money you get, you're giving it back um, to the guys that have the gambling platforms. Okay. Now the other one is don't do unhealthy kind of jobs. It depends on what your level of health is. I had one of my friends way back. She was asthmatic and still asthmatic. So if you have that kind of health condition, there are certain jobs you cannot do for the sake of money. Okay, if you're if you're the kind of individual that you have any concerns, there are certain kind of jobs you cannot do. You cannot go and work, for example, where you know that 90% of the customers in this environment smoke or they take alcohol, and the smell or the smoke from alcohol would have negative impact on your health. Please don't do it, because at the end of the day, health is really important. I don't know if it's coincidental that finance is the last topic for this 5 day program. You could see the process. We spoke about purpose and vision. Then we spoke about, religion and spirituality. We spoke about uh, relationships. We spoke about health, I think, or health before relationships. And what this thing means is no matter how much you make, no matter how much you have, you get to a point in time where your money can't buy your health, can't buy you life. So take it really seriously. The other one is don't abandon your education, in chase of wealth. People will tell you school is scam. Some will tell you if you're making the money, there's no need going to school. Ran, the guy I told you about YouTube, it got to a point where even his parents had to abandon their own jobs and they joined the guy. If you go to his YouTube channel now, you would see both parents and the boy, doing content. So there's a kind of money you have, and you're most likely not to continue education. And that's when you know that you're not really an educated person. When you have so much money, you should further your education. If I have the kind of money that I want after these studies, and I know I'm really comfortable, to feed, take care of my family, I'll further my education. A lot to learn about life, a lot to learn about different disciplines. So please don't ever think that you should sacrifice your education because you're looking for money. As long as you don't have any problems with funding that education, take it really, really seriously. Okay. So we're going into the next one, and that's managing money. Let's assume, you know, uh, a hypothetical scenario now that you have the money, you have a couple of pounds in your account, but you don't know how to manage it. You have money and the next day you don't have money. What is wrong? Is it that you have a lot of problems, or is it that you don't have good money habits, or is it that village people usually come at night and do away with your funds? Any of these things could be the case anyway. But most times it's because we don't have the good financial skills. We're not financially intelligent. We're not empowered with the expertise of finance. We don't have good financial literacy skills. So why do you have to manage your money? That's because it is stupid and unreasonable that you make money and you don't have money. There's a difference between making money and having money. There's a difference between getting wealth and building wealth. If you make $1,000 today and tomorrow you don't have $1,000, then you're not a big boy. Except on the basis that you used $1,000 to solve real problems. Even at that, you have to manage your funds. And one of the ways you need to manage your funds is by saving. You remember the story in the Bible when when Joseph actually I had a dream in the Bible, Joseph, that the next 7 years will be years of abundance, and the seven that follow would be years of scarcity. When there is extreme hunger, they call it famine, extreme hunger in the land, there will be no food anywhere. And Pharaoh wasn't one of the best guys in the Bible anyway, but God gave him wisdom to hand over that responsibility to Joseph. What that particular passage is trying to say is at some point in your life, or most of the time, you will have periods where you will have the abundance. It may not be exactly what you mean by abundance, but what he's trying to say is abundance comes first, making money comes first, and the next 7 years could be the next minute, it could be the next day, it could be next week, it could be next month. Famine or starvation or hunger comes. What do you do? Would you prefer going to the club and you splurge all your money, buy the expensive suits and corporate shoes and tie and wristwatches and do all this stuff, and the next week you're asking someone to give you urgent 2K? Does that make sense? It doesn't. What Joseph did was during the period of abundance, during the period of plenty, he saved some of the grains, preserved them. And when the period of scarcity came, people had enough to eat. So it's much better you can eat 3 square meal for today, tomorrow, until you die, than you eat maybe 10 square meal this month and the next month you go hungry. It doesn't make sense. So that's why once you make your money, you have to save. And even in your saving, you don't save after you've spent. You save before you spend. Before you make any form of expenses, you save. Now there's the 50-30 rule. Some of you may know, and that is this may you may have to adjust. At some point I was doing 30-30-40, And what this means is 50% of whatever comes into your account, whatever you make, you channel them to your needs. Your needs are actually things you cannot do without. Your food, your shelter, accommodation, health, and all those be the basic things. You channel the 50%. Your 30% will be for your wants. Always we have things we crave, as human beings. Those resources would serve. You take out 30% of your resources to serve or help you satisfy some of your wants. If you are like me, and I've been in the UK for like how many months, and maybe I've not had quality wine, and I'm like, but I've been suffering. I think I've worked for this month, and I need to take out something from my 30% to buy some wine and take. That's what you can do from your 30%. Then the 20% is what you save for the future. But like I said, you mustn't stick 50, 30, 20. Yours could be 30. If you are lucky and blessed, you don't have so much responsibilities, then you can be spending your 30 on your needs, the other 30 on your wants, and you save 40. At some point in my life, I was doing 20, 20, 60. I was saving up to 60% of what usually comes into my account. I was really aggressive with saving at that point. So it is really important to use this as a guide. But like I said, you don't spend your 50, then spend your 30 before saving your 20. Once your money comes in, take out your 20% and save. There are different platforms to save your money. I know inflation is eroding the value of your money that you have in the bank, but it's even better than not saving at all. There are other investment platforms. The one of the popular ones is Piggyvest. You can use that to save your money. Then there's another thing you can do with your savings, and I'm going to tell you about it in the next part of the conversation. 38 minutes. Okay. Then the other thing you have to do managing money is to stay out of debt. Now, Jesus Christ came for those that are Christians, and the Bible tells us that he paid our debt. Is that not the case? So why are you in debt when our Lord Jesus Christ has paid your debt? Being in debt is not a good thing. I know sometimes it's unavoidable, but as much as you can, stay out of debt. Don't borrow when you don't have the need to. Don't go and try and keep your hands where your hand no reach. These things would ruin you. I know a couple of people, that got ruined because they try to live above their means. Some people may not even be living above their means, but instead of thinking about possible ways to make money, once you're in scarcity or you have a problem, the first thought that comes to your mind is to collect money, to borrow money. It is not a good thing. Borrowing or being in debt can ruin your relationships. Remember when I told you what I told you about building valuable relationships? And this is not a financial advice, but it can help you financially. One of the ways to manage and nurture and water your relationships is to never borrow from your friends that you value. When you're in deep mess, they would know you're in deep mess. Some of them will come to your aid. When it's a matter of life and death, of course, that's why you have them. Let them know. But don't form the habit of going to borrow from your network that you value so much. Once people begin to perceive you that you're always there to collect, and that's it's just a habit. You always want to collect. You don't give in return, or you don't go out there to make money. Then there's a problem for you. You ruin future opportunities where you can always fall back on if you have serious problems. Okay. Then the other way, I think I missed it in the first one, and that's Ponzi scheme. Now, I am that kind of messenger that would tell you to, if I was telling you this thing 4 years ago, I would tell you take my message, but don't take me, because I've done pawns in the past. And it's one of the reasons why I usually emphasize on it, because I have real life practical experience. Now, I got to a point where I had a couple of millions in Ponzi schemes, different Ponzi schemes. And there's a way devil works, and there's also a way God works. Sometimes both of them may be working together to teach you a lesson. God's intention is to teach you a lesson. Devil's intention is because he doesn't like you, he would want to ruin you. Almost all these Ponzi schemes crashed almost at the same time. In fact, as one was crashing, the ripple effect of one, or the fear of one, I got poised that I wanted to withdraw from the other Ponzi scheme. And I think almost at the same time, everybody wants to withdraw from that Ponzi scheme. And that's how they said no more withdrawal. In fact, at some point, they didn't have funds to give to people. And what exactly is Ponzi scheme? Is when you bring money, you put in a platform that doesn't have any economic activity going on. All they do is they collect from A to give B, and collect from B to give C, and collect from C to give back to A. And once there's shortage in that pool of fund, or once they break a cycle, then there's a problem. So please, one of the ways to manage money is not to go into Ponzi schemes. It's going to ruin you. When MMM happened, I think I just finished my NYC as at that time. I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I had one of my friends that his aunt, you know, lost all her pension in MMM. It was that bad. So imagine working for 35 solid years. And at the end of those 35 years, just because of, sometimes it could be greed, sometimes it could be because you don't have the knowledge, what we're talking about now, and you go put 90% of what you've worked for 35 years, and boom, it disappears. It's a terrible situation you don't want to find yourself in. So please stay out of Ponzi by all means possible. So I think we're making progress. Now, there is the part of multiplying money. Now, if you want to talk about multiplication of money, one of the things I always tell people is the power of consistency and compounding. It's one of the things that a combination of those two has kept me going, for a long time now. That's because compounding is you adding little effort on top of the effort you have added the previous day. I'm going to talk about compounding in finance and compounding in investment, but it applies to all areas of your life. Mordecai told you how I've been, exercising or, doing 100 push-ups for over 20 years. Not like I don't miss some days. I miss some days. Some days I fall ill. Like when I was traveling from Nigeria to the UK, I almost missed my flight. So I didn't even have enough time to do my push-ups. And when I came to the UK, I didn't have any environment to do my push-ups. So days like that, you will definitely miss out. There are also days that wake up in the morning and you're rushing out because you wake up late. You woke up late. But most of the time, it's all about consistency. Rather than trying to do 200 push-ups, 500 push-ups in a day, I would rather do 50 for the next 10 days. I was telling Mordecai this thing, and that's all about consistency and compounding. That's it about your money. Now, you have to save your money. Why? Because if you don't save your money, inflation would help you deal with your money. We all know what Nigeria is all about. 100,000 last 2 months is not 100,000 today. I know most of you know that. You may not understand, but if you really want to know how practical this thing is, ask anybody how much they bought a particular item 6 months ago. Now go back to the market and try to buy that same item from that same customer, and you understand what I'm saying. So if a particular item is 100,000 as of January, and today it is 110,000, but you have 100,000 in your account all through January to today, that 100,000 that could buy a particular item in January can no longer buy that item today. So you could see you're losing value, purchasing power. That's the word, that's the economic term. Your money is losing its purchasing power. And once you lose your purchasing power, with time, your money becomes worthless. Not entirely worthless anyway. So one of the things you would have to do is to hedge, protect your money against inflation. Protect your money against exchange rates. Protect your money as much as you can, and there are different ways you can invest. Again, this topic is too fundamental for me to go deep into it, but you have the basic platforms. You have the stock market, you have commodities market, you have FGN savings bonds, you have different platforms. You even have the piggyvest where you can invest your money in a safe investment venture or platform. It's going to really help you to hedge against inflation that erodes your money. And inflation is just the increase in the price of goods and services in the market. Because what you buy today, the amount you spend buying a particular product or paying for a particular service today will not be the exact amount tomorrow. Now, the other way is, like I said, compounding effect. Now, I want to ask you this question. If you save or make 10,000 every month, let's say last year or this year you have 120,000, and you put it in an investment platform, and you don't make any more money. In the next 2 years or in the next 10 years, you would have 1.10 million, 1.2 million rather. 120,000 times 10 is 1.2 million. But that 1.2 million, if you put it in the platform that gives you 12% per annum and compounds, remember, compounds on a monthly basis. Rather than having 1.2 million, you will have close to 2.7 million. Now, leave that amount of money for the next 10 years, meaning you're now 20 years into the future. You don't touch that money. What you would have is 20 years times 120,000. That will give you around 2.4 million. But if you leave it in an investment platform that gives you 12% per annum, 1% every month, compounded monthly, you will be having over 11 million naira. Now, compounding is simply the interest that gets paid on a particular interest. So if I have 10,000 naira today and I don't do anything with 10,000 naira and I leave it in my bank account, in 5 years, that 10,000 naira will meet me there. No addition, no subtraction. In real term, there is subtraction because of inflation. Inflation must have dealt with that 10,000. But instead of leaving the 10,000 there, I can leave the 10,000 and I get how much? Let's say 10%. 10% of 10,000 is 1,000 by next month or by next year. And I leave that 1,000 on top the 10,000. That is 11,000. And the next year, I'm getting interest on the 10,000 and on the 11,000. So the subsequent year, I'm not having only interest on the 10,000. I'm having 1,000 naira from the 10,000 and 100 naira from the 1,000. So I'm having 1,100. And the year that follows, I'm having 10% on the 1,000, 10% on the 1,100, and 10% on the initial 10,000. That's exactly what compounding is. And it applies to every part of your life, your prayer life, your health, your education. If you know A, and you don't continue to work on A, to invest on what you know, to add value, to give value, to do things with what you know, that stuff will diminish over time. In biology, I studied biochemistry. We call it the use and disuse of organ. If I have muscles today and I don't do anything to my muscles in 10 years, even in next 6 months, you would observe that yourself is now going out of shape. But if I have this muscle and I don't do much, this biceps, and tomorrow I still do my gym, next tomorrow I do my gym, next week I do my gym, I'll be in shape and I'll even be better. That's exactly how it is. Now, another concept I want to give you is if you have one, one naira and you remove zero point 0.1 from the 1 naira, what you have is 0.99. If you raise it to 365, 0.99 raised to power 365, you will not have up to 1. But if you have 1, then add 0.1 on it, you have 1.01. And you raise it to 365, you will have close to 30 something. So no matter how little the effort you're making, no matter how little the interest you think you have or you're getting from an investment, as long as it is safe, as long as it is going to preserve your capital is that principal amount, that main cash, the 10,000 naira or 120,000 you have, is going to preserve it. No matter how little the interest, is better than not investing at all, because over time it's going to compound and it's going to add value and give you value on top of the value on top of the value. Okay. Now, one last one before it's already 51 minutes is diversification. It's more like saying don't put your eggs in one basket. Okay. That's exactly what it means. If you are if you are preparing for a very big event and you want to get some clothes and you don't even know if this clothes is going to fit you, the best thing to do is to be on the safe side. Okay. Or if you're pursuing a particular career and you're not even sure what will happen, the best is not to give your all into one career. You try this one, do another one, do another one. But again, I think that's just more like a complex instance I'm trying to give. My point is, because of the classical theory of risk, and that is risk is everywhere. Risk is everywhere. Every investment offers some form of risk. And what diversification does is, instead of investing only in one stock, maybe let's say Dangote, you can invest in Dangote, invest in MTN, then invest in First Bank. If something happens to the banking industry and your First Bank goes bonkers, you have Dangote and you have MTN to help you cushion that effect. If something happens to Dangote tomorrow, he loses his number one position, or Dangote refinery is no longer working, or his cement industry is no longer functioning. You know, if anything happens to Dangote, you have shares in MTN and in First Bank. Those two would help cushion the effect. Now, in finance and risk management, history has shown most of the time that all the assets in your portfolio, most of the time, cannot go down all the time, except during events such as COVID. Even during COVID, some shares were rising, share prices were rising. I hope you guys know some share prices in the stock in the health sector. If you know any share price in the health sector, some share price in the e-commerce field space were rising. Other guys were going down, but those share prices were rising. So that's why diversification is good. And sometimes you diversify even away from the investment venture. For example, you diversify away from stock market entirely. So if you have shares, you can have some investment in real estate. You can have some investment in corporate bonds. You can have some investment in forex. That's if you know how to do it. You can have some businesses as well that give you return, where you're actually helping to service the economy and you're getting return, getting value in return. So that is exactly what diversification is. So when you have your money and you want to make your investments, don't put all of it into one platform, because if anything happens to that platform, you're done for. But if you have 10,000 naira and you decide, okay, based on the knowledge that I have about financial literacy and maybe investment management or portfolio management, I think I want to allocate 30% of my investable capital to the stock market, then 40% to agriculture. Okay, maybe I'm into farming and I think I want to, get some crops, do some cultivation and sell the produce and get money. And the other, okay, 30, 40, 30. And the other 30%, I just want to use it to open business or put it into real estate. It's better that way than to take all your money into either real estate or all your money into agriculture or all your money into the stock market or even leave all your money in the bank. Okay, so although realistically speaking, you get to a point where you don't have enough resources to diversify your money. So you have to get to a stage where you can even reasonably diversify your money. If you have only 1,000 naira in your account, you can't diversify. Okay, so diversification is really, really, really key. So we don't have much time, 4 minutes, and I wouldn't want to take so much of your time. But just to recap, we've been able to for on the basic level, talk about financial intelligence, financial empowerment, financial literacy from three different angles: how you make money, how you manage your money, and how you multiply your money. And we spoke about things you have to do to make money, and they are hinged on the concept of you learn, you earn, and you invest or you save. This is usually the formula. If you don't learn and you go ahead to earn, you will lose all your money. Because even when you think you have money to hire someone to help you manage your money, and you know nothing at all, about what money is all about, if the person is messing you up, you wouldn't know. So it's good not to um, take your money for granted. Okay, so try and gain knowledge as much as you can, then make the money, then try and manage the money, and try and multiply the money. And at the end of the day, work on your relationships. Again, money is simply the store of value. And for me, my idea is, since money is a store of value, anything that can store value is money, and quality relationships can store value. So as you're chasing the money, ensure you have quality relationships, because at the end of the day, your net network is your net worth. Okay, so thank you guys very, very much. I'm not sure I could see any of your charts, but if you have questions, you can always ask and I will address them. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. What I can say is wow. Thank you very much, sir. Please, if you have gained value from this session, I don't want him to stop. Actually, I don't want him to stop because I love the what he said is very profound. Also, I love the way Mr. Joseph simplified it. Even a 5-year-old boy, and that is the proof of expertise. Okay, when a 5 years old boy we understand. So please, if you have gained so much value from this session, all right, please just help me give Mr. Joseph a round of applause. If you have gained so much value, he has given you value. Normally, you're supposed to send money. That's what you're supposed to do now. He has given value. Value, money is the exchange of value. You're supposed to send money, but at least you can't send money now. So give him a round of applause. Clap for him. Like just send different emoji and just appreciate him for what he has just shared with us. Now, I love the fact that he said anything that can store value is money. That is very profound. I've never thought of it that way before. Anything that can store value. You mentioned that even if people around you don't even have money, if they have value, that means it's something that because they can solve problem for you that you haven't used problem. I love that. Well done, sir. That's wisdom. Okay, they are
Yeah.
appreciating. They appreciate. Please, if you have
Thank
questions
you
now,
guys.
please just ask your question. But while you are typing your question, I have just two questions to ask.
Okay.
Mr. Joseph. Okay, so first and foremost, that's profound again. I really appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Okay, I love it. I don't want you to stop. All right, I don't want you to stop. Okay, and I can see you are really gifted at even communicating thoughts. All right, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
So The first question is you spoke about it briefly at the end. All right, you spoke about it. You said you must. You said the progression is learn, earn, and then invest. Learn, earn, and invest. And if you don't learn, okay, and you start earning, you will lose it. And that actually applies to me. I saw it visibly in my life. I finished NYC 2020, March 2020. And while I was learning skills, okay, I online, I got into learning video marketing. And in just 2 weeks, all right, just learning video marketing, marketing it on my WhatsApp status, helping people create videos and teach them. I earned over, for the first time in my life, I earned over 350K in 2 weeks. It was so shocking. I remember sometimes I'll be washing clothes, just thinking about it. I'll be smiling inside the bedroom because I couldn't believe. But guess what? In 4 months, from 350K in 6 months, from 350K in money, I was owing over 350K.
If
So
it's
that
6 months, then you tried. Some people it's just a week.
because my and I discovered the real meaning of mindset. Okay,
Yeah.
because if you don't have the mindset, like say learn, the money you have that you acquire will come back to the level of your mind, and that's what I've had it, but it played a role. Like it, I bump into, I invested different foolishly. Someone said pay 60K for something, I invested it. All right, so but thank God. So around that time, after losing all the money and I was in debt, I started like getting financial education like this, reading books, and then I was able to start earning money. Then I started saving money. Then now, as of last year, I started investing money, which I see in just 2 years, due to knowledge, I can see the progression in my life. So, number one question is, how can young people, like this is a mindset? Are there other ways they can gain mindset again to build their financial intelligence? Apart from this, you've spoken here. That's one way. Is there other way they can get the mindset of financial idea before they start earning money? The mindset. Any other ways?
Well, it's a fascinating question, but a difficult one, because there's no one size fits all, kind of answer. But I would say two of the ways, because you can't. There's no way around this thing. You have to learn. You have to learn. You have to work on yourself. But two ways is mentorship, then experience. Now, in terms of mentorship, because I never had personal finance skill, education in quote, when I was growing up. I don't know when most of the people on call went to primary school, but we had nothing like that. In my secondary school, of course, I did economics, but economics is not financial literacy. Economics is not personal finance. In the university, nothing like that. I had CEDR as one of my courses, but it wasn't personal finance. But over the years, what I did was a combination of mentorship and experience. Experience in the basis that I started touching money on time, and I touch money, I lose money. I was like, what exactly is happening? Just like you, the first time I made 50,000 naira, for myself. I worked for it and I got paid 50,000 naira even before. I think that was in my SS3 or before I think before I even gained admission. I was like, wow. What happened was um I was I was I was careless with the money. Now I didn't even spend most of it on myself. I started looking for things to do with money. I will come back to the house. I'll be like, these buckets we there, you don't owe though. Make una go buy new bucket. I'll be like, these our milk don't finish. You make una go buy milk. Everybody knew there was money, and within days I lost it. You know, and that taught me that. And you know what happened after I lost that money? A bigger problem that was even more relevant if I had solved it came shortly after I had squandered that money. And that was when I knew that actually, if I continue this way, it gets to a point where I may have a million naira and I'm going to spend it on maybe going to clubs, buying expensive clothes. And next week, my dad may be sick and it may just be 200,000 naira that they need to save his life. And it will be painful that you had a million naira yesterday or last week and you no longer have it. And not like you use it to do something really important, but you squandered it. So that's a part of experience. The part of mentorship, the part of mentorship is I started, rolling with people that knew more than I knew. I saw the way they managed money. One of my mentors now is Mr. Bola. I cannot categorically say, but I know he is really wealthy. But you hardly see him put on expensive things. You see him put on just simple t-shirts, pants, trouser. If you see him outside, you would not know. Do you understand? And you ask him this question, and one of the things he usually tells you is he uses money to solve real pressing problems. And once you begin to get close to people like that, and if you like them and you are humble enough to learn from them, you see how they run things, you see how they manage money, you are most likely to begin to behave like them. That's why I always tell young people is take mentorship seriously. But instead of having a bad mentor, don't have a mentor at all. Because someone you look up to, someone you call a role model, you may think the person is not influencing you. The person is actually really influencing you. So instead of making Mordecai or me a mentor, and we're not living the kind of lives that you think you like or you'd want to, but you may not know just because of your natural likeness. And I start doing A, you see yourself begin to do A. Or maybe you're a prayerful person and the person you like, you talk to almost on a daily basis, doesn't pray. There's a tendency that you will stop praying, or you usually save money, but the person you roll with is the kind of person that likes to show off. That will always want to tell you, eat money, tomorrow problem, tomorrow will solve itself, is a terrible mindset. Tomorrow will not solve itself. You are there because God gave you wisdom. And the wisdom is for you to solve future, current and future problems. So those are the two ways I believe, besides intentional knowledge acquisition, because I feel the right way is just to intentionally acquire knowledge. But even when you don't acquire knowledge, if you're smart and wise, when things happen to you, you make money, lose money, or you see yourself in a situation where you're supposed to save a life with 10,000 naira, but you use that 10,000 naira to play Bet Ninja last week. If you're wise, I believe that will teach you a lesson.
Wow. Wow. So
So,
you emphasize on mentorship and experience. Wow,
yeah,
that's very powerful. That's very powerful. Thank you very much for that answer. Thank you very much for that answer. So one
you're
more
welcome.
question is,
Yeah,
yeah. So I remember that time when I was also due to that my financial carelessness, I went into
okay,
big debts because I was trying to
yeah.
just pay money and I was being foolish. So uh it was so much. It took time before I finished paying. Okay, but there are many young people who are into debts too. Okay, there's young
I,
people that
I
is
can I can hear you. Though someone just walking, but I can hear you guys. Go
okay,
on.
okay, okay. All right. So for young people now that currently now you are talking about financial intelligence and now they are currently into big huge debts. So and they want to make money, manage money, and multiply money. How can they start? Like about into big debt. So how can they start? I know it's possible because I see it in my life, but is there a way you can explain to them how they can like pay the debts and start? Like it's just a simple way to can pay the debt and start making. You have to unmute. Sorry, you have to unmute. You have to unmute.
Thank you very much. So I said it's one of those questions that I would say it depends as usual
Okay.
on the context.
Okay.
Some of the dependencies will be how much are you owing? Who are you owing? How long have you been in debt?
Hmm.
But let me just, put up a hypothetical situation now and use it to answer your question.
Mhm.
Let's say you're owing the bank and you're owing the bank 1 million naira and you're given 1 year to make your payment, and 6 months have gone by. You have 6 months and you're trying to go out of debt. The advice I would give you is to never owe the bank except you want to die, because I've worked in the bank and I'm telling you, it's even easier to owe some of these online, loan guys than to owe the bank. I've worked in the bank for some years. They will frustrate your life. They will blacklist you. You will be unable to get loans. They would come, after your properties. They would do a lot of things to you. So if you are in debt and you're making some amount of money, I would suggest you take out some part of the money you're making for sustenance, because you have to eat before you can pay debt. Is that not the case? So you take out some amount of money for sustenance that you're going to use to eat. Then the rest should go to clearing your debt. Another implication is there's what we call reducing balance. Sometimes your interest is not reducing over time. Let me not be a bit technical. The point is, if you exceed your 1 year, the interest that you are supposed to pay on 1 million naira, let's say 10% is supposed to be 100,000. But once you exceed 1 year, it's no longer 100,000.
Mm.
You're going to be paying 10% on any future accumulation of that money. Even
Wow.
the way compounding can work in your favor is also one of the ways banks use to make it work against you, because the
Mm.
money that you've collected from them, they are using compounding to make the situation worse for you once it exceeds that month. So the best way is just to try as much as possible to clear your debt before
Mm.
anything else. But if you are owing someone, and there's no interest, that's why I said there are some zero interest loans. If
Mm.
you're owing someone or owing the bank or owing any organization and there's no interest and they've given you time, no problems at all. I would always advise you get money, invest, and from the returns from your investment, you can use your returns to clear your debt. That's a smarter way to go about it. So you could see I didn't give one straightforward answer because
Mm.
there are dependencies. It depends on the
Exactly.
structure of your debt, how long you've been owing, who you are owing, the amount you are owing, and if you have some cash flow coming in after you've collected the debt. The worst part is when you are owing and you don't even have any cash flow, nothing is coming out,
Mm.
and you are in deep soup. So I think I've been able to answer your question.
Great, great. And if you still have 1 minute, can you still ask one question if
Of
you're not in a
course,
hurry?
of course. I love the conversation. Keep it going.
Great.
If the audience, if they don't mind, because I like to
Okay,
respect.
they don't mind, they don't mind. So I know you don't mind because you are getting a lot from it. Okay, I must take advantage. You don't know when you will be like he's a very busy person, so let's
You're
take
right.
advantage.
You're right. Actually,
Yeah. So if I remember someone, okay, you talked about saving money, the importance of saving money. You even mentioned that you must pay yourself first. You mentioned about paying yourself first
yeah,
before
yeah,
spending. So, for
yeah.
example, I've had this scenario both with people I know and young people too that I can't save any because I'm collecting 10,000 naira. Even the 10,000 naira, it has finished before I even like. There's things that will eat it already. It's not even enough. How can I save? All right,
Okay.
it's not
I
enough. So
like
what
that.
can I save?
I like that question because I always tell people that no matter how bad your condition is, as long as something has come into your account, you can always save from it.
Mm.
Now, I have younger ones in school that anytime I send them money, I tell them if I send you 10,000 or 20,000, don't tell me your problems are more than 10,000. You can always save 500 from your money,
Hmm.
always. So it's
500.
about, yes, no matter how little, it's about the mindset.
Hmm.
You know why? Because I eat twice a day. So assuming I'm studying and you're my elder brother and you send me 10,000 and I take out 500 from that 10,000. And the next week you send me 10,000, I take out 500. And for the 4 periods that you sent me 10,000, I've taken out 500. That's 2,000. At that point, when I will call you and I'll ask you, Brother Mordecai, please, I don't have money. You tell me, give me tomorrow, give me next tomorrow. What do I do? I'm going to go straight to that 2,000 that I've saved for the 4 tranches of 10,000 you've given me. So
Hmm.
my point is, one myth or one excuse people give themselves is you have to earn a lot before you would save. That is not true. You can save from the little that you have. I understand that Joseph in the Bible saved from abundance, plenty food, then he was able to save the ones that he used for the next 7 years. But that is not true. If you're earning 10,000 naira, you can save even if it's 1,500. Condition your mind that what if this money did not come in the first place? Condition your mind. Another way you can condition your mind is, what if the problem that I think I have now, then the next day I get a bigger problem, and the only difference that I could make is just a difference of having additional 500 naira. What do I do? So always condition your mind that no matter how little your money is or what your that is coming into your account is, you can save. If you have 500 naira, take out 50 naira. If you have 1,000 naira, take out 50 naira, 100 naira. If you have 10,000, take out 500, 1,000. If you have 20,000, like that. That's how, if you build a habit. Remember when I told you when we're having random conversations, it's about the consistency. Then again, it's about the habit. If you don't build a habit of saving from 10,000, you will find it difficult to save from 10 million. No two ways about it. The propensity of you saving from 10 million when you've not saved from 10,000, it's very difficult. I'm speaking from experience, and of course, the nature of my job and the fact that I coach a couple of people, they come with their personal concerns, you know. And one of the things I'm even studying now is behavioral finance. There's a way the mind works. If you don't build habits when you don't have, once you have, it's difficult. In fact, when you've even built the habits, you'll tend to lose those habits when you have so much money. Now, imagine when you don't have so much money and you never had the habits in the first place. So that's just my advice to guys. Save no matter how little, no matter how little you think it is. Take out, pay yourself first. Take out 5%, 10%, 20% from your 100% and keep it elsewhere. Then save from the rest. You will not die, except it's an issue of life and death. So except on that basis. Thank you.
Wow, wow. See, what you just did now is deliverance. You're not different from Apostle. You deliver so many people. Okay. So thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate the profound answers you gave to those questions. And again, I love the way you simplify things. I don't know if it's a gift or something, but I just love the way you simplify things. So thank you very much for the answers to those
Yeah.
questions. And again, I want to appreciate you coming on board to just impact us with your knowledge. Like it's something I don't take for granted. Okay. I don't take this for granted. Thank you so much, sir. And everybody also, please let me appreciate Mr. Joseph before you go again. Just let me appreciate him. What he did
Yeah,
is
thank you guys.
is great. Is great. Value Pro Max. I love that. Thank you very much, sir. We really
Thank
appreciate, sir.
you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
All right.
guys.
So if there's a parting words you can give them, what will it be?
Uh, a lot of things, a lot of things. Well, I would just say, I think you've said it already. Take the definition of money to heart, and that is just a store of value. And if that's a store of value, anything that gives you value is money and can be converted to money. From your health to your knowledge to your family to your relationships, everything that can store value is money. Take them very seriously. The second one is, don't go into shady deals because you want to make money. As Christians and as people that, I want to advise to build good lifestyles and live healthy lifestyles. Don't go into shady things for money. Don't go into fraud. Don't go into illegitimate stuff for money. That kind of money doesn't last. You don't get peace from such money, and that kind of money is not real wealth. So, in fact, there's a lot of things, but at the end of the day, we can always keep having these conversations. I know I can be really busy, especially between now and January, but you're free to drop me a chat, or
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much.
also
That's
thank you,
powerful.
thank you, thank you.
Great. Great. Thanks so much, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Yeah,
your presence once again. And on behalf of Things of Purpose International and every young people, because we are reaching out to thousands of young people. So many people are still going to watch this video and they'll
yeah,
be impacted for life. All right. So just
yeah,
know you are through this platform, you are touching lives already. Okay, you have
yeah,
impacted some people and they'll be forever grateful. So thank you once again. And I'm going to meet you soon. Okay. We'll chat up
yeah,
later. All right. Thank you
yeah.
very much.
Thank you.
And do have a
Yeah,
great time. All right. Yeah. So thank you all, thank you everyone for joining tonight. I'm sure you've learned a lot from Mr. Joseph Ugwu. Like my mind, like I'm just trying to process everything he has said. Okay, I learned a lot personally. Okay, that I'm going to start applying to my own life. Okay, especially about investing. All right, I'm going to apply about that diversification. Yeah, diversification. So I know you have learned something tonight. All right. So it's not enough to learn. For the past 5 days we've been learning. All right, it's not enough to learn. The most important thing for you is to start applying what you've learned. All right, so we've come to the end of life of 5 days of illumination, transformation, and now it's time for manifestation. All right, so I'm sure you have gained value the last 5 days. Great speakers, great knowledge shared. All right, but the most important thing is, what will you stop doing and what will you start doing? What will you stop doing? So I want you to end this session. Okay, before I end this session, please get a pen. Okay, go to your this thing, write out what will I stop doing as regards my purpose and vision, and what will I start doing? As regards my spiritual life, what will I stop doing and what will I start doing? As regards my health, what will I stop doing? What will I start doing? And same thing, relationship and now finances. What will you stop doing and what will you start doing? And I'm sure that as you do those things, okay, I'm sure your life experience is shifted, okay, and you really upgrade the different areas of your life. Thank you for joining. Till we see next year, 2024, Life Upgrade 4.0. Do enjoy the rest of the year and do have a great time. All right. Bye bye. Take care of yourself.